In the opening months of World War II, the Nazis unleashed a new and deadly style of warfare, blitzkrieg. And Hitler's armies fought without stopping at a pace that seemed impossible.
So they'd have to go 3 nights without sleep.
In May 1940, only 86 German soldiers knocked out the world's most impregnable fortress. 6 weeks later, most of Western Europe was under Axis control.
Whoa!
Rumors spread that the Nazis possessed a secret weapon. And as it turned out, they did. A pill that gave soldiers the power to fight beyond ordinary human endurance.
I think it sounded really tempting to the military to have a substance that could work as a psychostimulant.
Did a dangerous combat drug turn Hitler's soldiers into supermen, giving them the stamina to win astonishing victories? How could soldiers made of mere flesh and bone fight for over 28 straight hours?
I mean, they were getting pushed on all sides. How were they able to hold off for so long?
Well, they were in a very difficult position because the German paratroopers had to take a defensive position. It lasted for a long time. They even thought about retreating. But we know that they got pills as well, Pervitin pills.
Pills? Pervitin? What's Pervitin?
Well, it's a drug which was developed in the interwar period as well, and which had to ensure that the German paratroopers or the German soldiers in general could last out for a longer period.
Do you have historical evidence that they were given drugs?
Well, we know from German post-war testimonies that the pills were distributed indeed before the German gliders took off. We're not sure if every paratrooper took the pills, but they had the opportunity to do so.
What was Pervitin? Was it really powerful enough to turn men into supermen? I've contacted an expert on Nazi drug use to ask him what he knows about Pervitin. He told me to meet him here. Kind of a weird place to meet.
This is clearly some sort of an industrial facility here. You can see there's what appear to be large pipes here underneath draining, tile floors, and all manner of electronic controls. Tell me, what is this place?
This is the production site of the Temmler company, a pharmaceutical company producing a lot of drugs.
And what were they making in the 30s here?
The most famous drug was Pervitin, now known as crystal meth.
Crystal meth?
Really, yes.
Unbelievable. Pervitin was crystal meth. Super addictive and life-destroying. But in Nazi Germany, you could buy it over the counter. And thousands of Germans did.
Lorry drivers used it, professors, students, art people, even a housewife to keep going on. And a lot of medical use too.
I was a pilot in the war. I flew every German fighter plane, from the Messerschmitt to the Focke-Wulf 190 D9. It was the fastest propeller plane in the world back then. 466 miles per hour. I flew it until the end of the war.
Can you remember being issued with Pervitin?
Well, here's what I have to say. They told us that there was a so-called stimulant to help us to stay awake, because we often had to fly 4 or 5 missions a day. We noticed that our special diet included some sort of sugar cubes, dextroenergen. And there was a rumor that it contained Pervitin. We couldn't prove it though. We ate it, chewed it, or sucked on it before flying on special missions. And when we had to fly missions that we knew would be especially dangerous, the squadron commander would come, usually with a bottle of cognac, and say, Daumenbreite Prost, which they said meant it contained not only cognac or liquor, but pervitin as well, in order to keep us awake.
Can you remember what the effects of pervitin were?
I only felt one effect. Usually when we stayed at the frontline airstrip and had no special missions, we were as worn out and tired as everyone else who had worked all day. But when we had to fly 2 or 3 missions and had some of that dextroenergen or that cognac, we didn't even want to sleep anymore. We were instantly awake again and able to do everything. I did not get tired. I stayed awake and was able to react at any given time.
Talking with Eric convinces me that pervitin could give you a real advantage in combat, and that it must have helped German soldiers pull off the 1940 Blitzkrieg. But if fighting on meth gave you such a big advantage, why weren't the Allies taking it as well? Or were they?